Good morning, good morning. It's really great to look from this side of the room and see all of you looking so different from the times I had the opportunity to be at this side of the room as a student. So thank you for being here. Thank you to Bill, thank you to everybody on this fantastic staff who led up to this weekend and especially to this award and to all the volunteer leadership. I just have to say that your story was so great. Of course, it was a demonstration of what is very important to me about later life, but it was like a plunge. So it led me to quick think, well, mine was like a pebble, you know? It's like this pebble, and I thought, in the course of thinking what I wanted to say to you, I thought about what about my teachers at HB, and it's complicated because they were so challenging, but they almost all had gray hair. I mean, almost all, I would say. And I can't say I loved them, but there was huge respect, and I have never forgotten any of them. They're so vivid, and what we learned, I just can't believe it's alumni and not alumni. Because I'm sure in Latin, Miss Dash taught fourth year Latin, we got that far, you know, AE was pronounced I, so I don't get it, but somebody will explain it later. So anyway, my pebble kept rolling. Tom and I were in Africa for 5 years. My first experience in a village center was at a women's center where I came to teach health education, but they wanted to learn to embroider. And I didn't know anything about embroidery. But there was a woman there who could not read, write, she actually could barely see. She had taught herself to embroider because she was a fortune teller, and she had cloths with special things, signs on them, and she cast stones on it. So she taught me to embroider, and the other people learned to embroider and made baby clothes and sold them in the market. And you would have thought that would be the end of embroidery. I cannot tell you how many times in my life embroidery has created little birthday gifts and little things like that, and it's been a gift that came from that CK, very, very old woman. And it just kept going. I won't go through the pebble theme because I'll go over my 5 minutes, but it did actually grow through being an intern under a very, very wonderful city council member who was maybe 75 or something at the time, and going on and then working in this field where I constantly was learning from people who, you know, all had gray hair, and it's been such a gift. Gina, I'll just repeat what you said, that the theme for this year at HB is HB Girls Making the Future. And that fits very well with the idea of learning for life, our motto, and it fits very well with the idea expressed about being ready for following your passion. And for me, it fits with my career because I did feel education served the purpose. I went to Wellesley College after HB. That motto was not to be ministered unto, but to minister. So the combination of the discimus vitae and the ministrare sort of settled very well with me. I don't know about being called distinguished because you over and over and over, I put something in the wrong, but you know, it's just as tearing my hair out all the time. It doesn't feel so distinguished, but I'm very proud to be called distinguished. And I find being proud not a very common feeling I have, though I'm always very proud of HB, very, very proud. Every time I read something, at times Bill's come to Washington. Anyway, I'm so proud of HB, but proud of myself, it doesn't come so often. More often, I'm grateful. You can't do the work of building community or changing ideas without many, many other people who really care, who are committed, and who are smart. My husband, Tom, is certainly one of those at the top of my list. So that gratitude extends, you know, for me throughout the whole pebble rolling time. I would say that Bill did a great job of summarizing my work. I've gone from the community angle on aging and expanding services. Now I'm involved with the development of villages, some of you may know, is a fast-growing neighborhood-based volunteer program across the country. I'm sure there's some are there some in Cleveland? Does anybody know? No? There will be, I assure you. To, you know, the country, the Older Americans Act, which is a significant, and Johnson administration, beginning of America recognizing, you know, this population is growing. So I have loved having that wide scope. I would say that the way I've thought of it has boiled down to either I'm helping, usually helping people who don't have very many resources. The group homes that was mentioned is a very powerful example of that continues to this day, helping neighbors. And the other part of the theme is changing the way we think about aging. Giving these awards to people who start their careers in their 60s is one way we change ideas. Changing legislation is another. Bill said in his letter that one thing we're facing is a changing world full of complications, challenges, and many uncertainties, but one thing is certain: girls, our girls in particular, will be leaders in making the world a better place. I agree with that. It's also true that something that is certain is there are going to be a lot more old people. And if we don't look at old people as an opportunity, as well as people to honor and care for when they need care, we are totally missing the boat. It means going back to the way some traditional societies work. It means learning from them and from other countries. It means opening our eyes to what somebody can do in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and offering those opportunities. I'll just mention Experience Corps, which is here in Cleveland as well as in about 20 cities now. It trains older adults to be tutors in elementary school for at-risk children, tutors for literacy. And they, the purpose of the program is not only to help the children, it is to prove the point that if you take older people seriously and recognize them as a resource for society, society gains and the older adults gain. And the research on this significant program proves that, and was a big part of what I could present to Congress when I was working on legislation. So I just see Jane Quayle, and I just want to say that she won this award earlier. She's been a pioneer in this field, particularly for intergenerational programs. So it's really nice to have HB imbued with this already. I'm probably preaching altogether to the choir, but I just wanted to put my particular angle on it. For me, the sort of the underlying themes of how I've grown in this area are volunteering, which I first started here at the East End Neighborhood House in the 8th grade, and my mother, of course, and by example. What was my, I've already well covered my appreciation for older people, which had many different examples throughout my life, and the Making the World Better, which came from the training and background from my family, from HB and my family, and my college. The impact of my parents dying in the beginning of 10th grade was of course powerful, but I didn't acknowledge it as so much of an influence on my career until somewhat later. It was only possible for me to stay in my hometown, in a home, through the tremendous generosity of my best friend, Linda Carey, who can't be here, but she's fine, but she can't be here today, and her parents, Judy, who went to HB, and her father, Bob, and to the school. And Miss Cochran was, she was just so clear. We want this to work for you. And that, the confidence you spoke of came from that, and it did. The dorm was a great bonus because I made new friends in the dorm, and I stayed with Linda and her family and continued my social life that I'd had all through. So that too has been a huge impact going through my life. I have to say thank you to all my classmates who are here. Their friendship meant the world then, it still does. In some ways it's even grown over time. I feel that gratitude that comes back because of the friendships and because of the shared learning. So for that I'm thankful. Thank you, HB, for nurturing and educating me.